I want to talk Austin Reeves here for a quick second. I want to talk about Austin Reeves last night. All right, Austin Reeves last night. Let me just kind of set this up here real quick. Why I want to talk about Austin Reeves. Here's what's been going on with Austin Reeves, at least for me, in this chat, and some of the chatter that we have on this show, a lot of the comments. I've done some videos on it. I feel like there are a lot of Laker fans who are starting to voice their opinion that they're not a fan of Austin Reeves, or that Austin Reeves takes too many shots, or Austin Reeves is a turnover machine, or Austin Reeves should be coming off the bench. Whatever your take is on Austin Reeves, I think my point that I'm trying to make is it's the most kind of chatter that I've heard about Reeves, and it's been more on a negative front. So I'm watching the game yesterday, and naturally, I'm kind of curious. Okay, how's Austin Reeves going to come out? I heard Mike Trudell talking before the game. Austin Reeves putting a lot on his shoulders. He's got to be better defensively. He has not played good in these last couple of games. And really, to be honest with you, if everything's not clicking for the Lakers, the chance of them losing that game is very, very high. So Austin Reeves has very little margin for error in today's world because of all that. Okay, so let me play off of that real quick. So there is that's kind of been the vibe that I'm getting off Austin Reeves. So last night's game, all right, game goes on, and Lakers eventually win the game. And I'm looking at, okay, what was Austin Reeves' impact? Austin Reeves only took 9 shots. I think for me, I don't need Austin Reeves taking 18 shots. I don't think anybody needs Austin Reeves to take more shots than LeBron or Anthony Davis. Definitely not more than Anthony Davis. If there's a game he takes more shots than LeBron, then I hope it's because Austin Reeves was cooking and maybe LeBron noticed that he's dishing the ball more, or maybe LeBron just didn't have it going, something along those lines. But for the most part, I think we understand the pecking order. What I liked about Austin Reeves' game last night, first off, he had 1 turnover. Okay. So right out the gate, I didn't have 35 comments right when the post-game show started of people saying, Al, how is your point guard going to be Austin Reeves? Which is very true here, who can't get by the primary defender. There is a little bit of a blueprint of how to guard Austin Reeves, primarily because you can put a bigger player on him. But you can't have a point guard like Austin Reeves committing this many turnovers, kind of having trouble getting things into the offense, maybe taking poor shots or taking too many shots, high volume, whatever the case is. Austin Reeves took 9 shots last night. He was 5 of 9 from the field. He had 14 points. He had 14 assists, and he had 1 turnover. I'm not telling you that Austin Reeves is going to be able to replicate that night in and night out, but I think what I'm assuming, a lot of that frustration that goes towards Austin Reeves is, okay, if he has games where we're not sitting back and saying, Reeves, that's not a good shot. Reeves, can you take a shot? Now, Reeves, he's so creative and drawing fouls and everything else. I think that's just kind of part of his game. But if they can find a way to make sure that Austin Reeves is under more control, maybe is even thinking about being a facilitator more than a creator first. And I don't think that's natural in his game. I think he wants it to be natural. I think there's potential for that to be natural. But I think there's a lot of times when you watch Austin Reeves that clearly this man is looking at trying to get a bucket before trying to get somebody else a bucket. He had 14 assists yesterday. He's had some games where he's had 16 assists, 10 dimes, some triple doubles. But he's also had games where he's wildly, 5 of 16 from the field. Really struggles from the 3-point line at times. 4, 5, 6 turnovers in a game. So I do think last night was one of the few games here over the course of the last maybe a couple of weeks or so, or 3 weeks or whatever the case is, where I think you could look at what he was able to do and say, okay, that's the type of game you're hoping from Austin Reeves. Is it going to happen on a night in, night out basis? Probably not. Brooklyn's coming up next. Okay, no problem there. Lakers should handle business there. But then the next game they got after that is the Clippers. Okay. A couple games later, they got Boston. A couple games later, they'll have, I think it's Golden State that's on the schedule. Then they go on their East Coast road trip, whatever the case is. Teams have adjusted to Austin Reeves, and they are making Austin Reeves' life a lot more difficult. That's the thought process. That's what they're trying to do on a night in, night out basis, and they've been able to have success doing it. I thought last night, and if people want to point out, well, that's because Miami doesn't have big guards, which you're right, that will put a ton of pressure on him. Plus, Miami was playing a lot of zone yesterday, so their style of defense is different than your typical style of defense. Maybe last night was just one game where we could see Austin Reeves and say, hey, that was phenomenal what he did. Didn't force too many shots, got a lot of other people involved. He was in foul trouble as well. Maybe that falls into play of why he didn't take so many shots. But more of that type of game from Austin Reeves, less hero ball, less I'm trying to take 17, 18 shots, and who knows what JJ Redick and everybody else is telling him. Maybe they're telling him, go ahead and fire away. But nonetheless, I don't want to complain about last night's game with Austin Reeves. I'll complain about other games, but I definitely don't want to complain about what Austin Reeves was doing last night. All right, let's see some of the comments here. The only defender on this team, let me see here. The only defender on this team is AD. No, listen, Dorian Finney-Smith's a defender. Max Christie is a defender. Vanderbilt is a defender when he comes back. They got some defenders on the team. What they don't have is, I think sometimes where you look at them and you're like, okay, hey, they're all collectively playing defense. They're pulling the rope in the same direction. I don't think you have that. All right, let's see what else we got here. They tire him out in the playoffs, make him play defense, can't defend. I'm not even talking about in the playoffs. How about now? I think right now is a good example. There's a lot of times, it's a smart strategy. It's exactly what they should do. But there's a lot of squads that go at Austin. Listen, if I'm on the opposing team, I'm putting a big guard on Austin Reeves, number one. And I'm taking him off the 3-point line. I don't mind if Austin Reeves is going to drive the ball, is what it is. You want to make a tough shot over one of my guys, then go ahead and do it. But that's what I'm doing, number one. And number two, when I'm on offense, I'm going at Austin Reeves, period. You guys remember the game? A couple games ago, they played San Antonio. How many times did Chris Paul tell Harrison Barnes, why don't you go post up out there? Austin Reeves is guarding you. Okay? So now he's got to play defense against some type of offensive player that he probably can't stop and who's bigger than him. And then he's got a bigger player that's guarding him on the defensive side. I would make his life a living hell. Now, I've kind of continued to go back to this because I think what I hear people say is, hey, bring Austin Reeves off the bench. But what I don't really hear anybody saying is, who are you bringing him in for? Who are you benching him for? And if people are going to say Shake Milton, I don't know what you guys want me to tell you. Shake Milton is not starting over Austin Reeves. By the way, I noticed this yesterday too. I'll get back into some of the comments here in a second. How lost does Dalton Connect look? I had no reason why I'm bringing this up. I noticed it yesterday, and I was going to bring it up last night in the postgame show. I forgot to. But if you're looking for players to start, remember there was one point Dalton Connect was starting for the Lakers? And one time JJ Redick took him out, and everybody's like, why would you take him out? Me included. I think I did a full video specifically on JJ, what are you doing? Dalton Connect should be starting. That man right now is so deep in his own head, taking threes he shouldn't be taking, hesitating when he shouldn't be hesitating. That dude is it's part of being a rookie, right? But that high and low was pretty damn extreme on Dalton Connect. AR's biggest problem is his defense. Teams abusing him in ISO. Well, they should be. And here's the other thing. It's not going to change. It's not going to change. From the defensive side, I think he's just going to be a liability. Everybody in this chat has anointed Austin Reeves all-star. I don't know what chat you're looking at. Tell me where those are, because all the comments that I've been looking at has been Austin Reeves has been struggling. Okay, here's one. Austin is amazing. People want to trade more. than they even watch games. Oh, people love trades. They love trades. They love the chatter of trades. I mean, I'll tell you this. I mean, when the Lakers traded for Dorian Finney-Smith, there's like a week where the numbers of this channel, and I'm sure other channels that do stuff similar to mine, just shoot up, right? When you get closer to the NBA trade deadline, everybody is curious about it. They want to know what the hell's going on. Is a trade going down? Is it not? When you get close to free agency, I mean, some of the numbers, what's kind of crazy, some of the numbers that I'll put up on this channel around trade deadline and free agency will be bigger than playoff numbers. An actual playoff game, they'll be bigger in those. So you're right. People do love the drama. They love the trades. They love all that stuff. Reeves as a fourth option instead of a third would be closer to a championship team, but they don't have a legit third. You know what else they don't have? I heard Robert Horry talking about this yesterday. So Horry on Spectrum Sports in the post-game show. Actually, I don't think it was yesterday. It might have been a couple games ago. He said, maybe it was yes, I can't remember. He said, you don't need to have a third guy, but what you need to have is somebody stepping up every night that you got to have a couple guys step up. So let me tell you what I think he means by that. If you're not going to have a third player, if it's not like, hey, it's clearly Austin Reeves is the third best player on this team, I think the point that Horry was trying to make is, well, you don't need a third player if Rui's more consistent, and if Gabe is more consistent, and Max is more consistent, and Dorian Finney-Smith is doing what he needs to do, and kind of go down the list. The problem with the Lakers, I have no idea what most of those guys are going to do on a night-in, night-out basis. The reason why Austin Reeves is the third best player on this team is because he's the most consistent of the role players. That's it. There isn't another reason. There isn't another angle. There isn't another, this kumbaya moment of why all of a sudden Austin Reeves is the guy or the third best guy. He's just the only player that you can look at. Maybe Max Christie's starting to kind of fill into that role a little bit as a 21-year-old and is not a liability on defense the way Reeves is. But that's the thing that I will say more than anything else. The reason why the Lakers have we've all anointed Austin Reeves as the third best player on the team. He's the only player that's consistent. All right, if you enjoyed this clip and you want more, just subscribe to the channel. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. is the Sliwa Show. And then after every Lakers game, post-game show right here.